Yes, that's right. So there's 8,000 Yellow Vest protesters here in Paris today. That makes up a total of 32,000 across France. Now, what happened was they'd been going for a huge march from the Finance Ministry in Bercy to the Champs-Élysées, and at that point the police say that some of those protesters started picking up projectiles, stones, and throwing them at the authorities, and so they had no other option but to return with some tear gas and water cannon, as you can probably see on some of these pictures. So now what's happening is these protests are, as happened in previous weeks, spilling into the side streets, and it's really a game of cat and mouse between the authorities and the protesters. Now, we've heard some figures from the police as well. 59 arrests so far in Paris across the country. That's gone up to 100. And that's because the violence isn't only just limited to Paris, it's also in other big cities such as Bordeaux and in various other towns across the country.
Oliver, it's been 9 weeks now, and the protests, they really seem to be regaining momentum. What's the government doing to try to restore calm?
So the government did announce a number of measures, what could be seen as a climb down, that they were going to reverse the tax that was going to be put on fuel products, that people would get paid without having, if they'd worked overtime, without having any taxes or surcharges added, and that those people on the minimum wage were going to be given a wage increase. And so after that, we saw a slight rise in the polls in favour towards President Macron. But since then, people have become disinterested in what Macron's got to say. They do not believe in his policies. And to be fair, they don't believe in what a lot of the other political parties are representing. For the Gilets jaunes, they want to represent themselves. And this is the major problem with the Gilets jaunes. They do not want to have any representation of themselves. They believe that they are all equal, that there shouldn't be any elected leader at the top. And so it's very, very difficult for the government to find a way to placate all of these now different voices of what different people want to be achieved from this movement. So it's very, very difficult for the government to try and find that balance. And so now we've heard in the last week from the French Prime Minister, Edouard Philippe, saying that he's going to roll out new laws to counter those vehement protesters who are known troublemakers from taking part in protests, and really that could inflame somewhat the Yellow Vest movement's more radical elements. But it is important to note that this started November the 17th, and there were 280,000 protesters out on the street. From what we can see so far today, 32,000. So it's almost a 90% reduction in the complete number, but it only takes a few to start that violence off, and then all of the press goes towards the violent images that we're now seeing.